began. So how's it going, guys? It's been a while. I know. Just been a long haul. Been a long winter, the coldest one in 65 years or something. And snow. Lots of freaking snow. And then they cleared the roads off, and this is what we got out of it. Okay. So, not a good thing to do when your legs aren't working. Stand on ice and try and kick some ice, but it's solid ice. Planted some Datsun seeds last fall. They always come up in the spring, and you can see this one's sprouting quite a bit, actually. And you can see how deep the still is around the wheels. This one's sprouting. That could be a problem. This one. And I don't know if this gate will open. Nope. Just too much bloody snow. But there's 3 in the back that are sprouting. One of them's genetically modified though, because it's a Nissan coming up. Anyway, looks like I got some work to do on Daisy. Yeah. Been letting her go. Not good. Gas door, I got lots of those. And the one that was on there I had lubricated, but it just wouldn't loosen up. So let's take a walk around the side of the house here where my neighbor's been snow blowing. So I'm standing foot and a half of snow, and you can see the snow here is up about probably 6 feet, and if you look there you can just barely see a couple of the Datsons sprouting. So they're kind of like tulips. Looks like I got a little bit of repair work to do here. So, what's been going on with the Iceman? Iceman's been cooling his jets, sitting with his mom. Been home for 4 days in the last 3 weeks because I've been staying at Mom's house with my sister Brenda. Okay, I'm back. So where have I been? About 6 weeks ago, based on current condition and everything, all the factors, my mom was given about 4 weeks. And she's still with us. But we are definitely getting, to where she's, we're going to lose her. She hasn't been eating for weeks now. We get a little bits in, 2 or 3 French fries, or a few spoonfuls of soup, cranberry juice, a little bit here and there, some water. Not enough to sustain life. And she's been getting, steadily weaker and weaker. In the last month or so, it's gone, or 6 weeks, where they were using a lift to help her get up out of bed and then help her to the washroom. They can't do that. She's in the bed all the time now. And my sister and brother-in-law had a holiday booked months ago to Jamaica, and that was a couple weeks ago. They were going to go for a week. Sorry about that. And so, even though we weren't expecting Mum, to last, we're making arrangements for everything. We made arrangements for before my sister left, and then we decided that my sister Brenda and I decided that Val had to go. She's been the one doing all the chasing with Mum for the last several years, taking her to medical appointments, because I would take her to some that were just regular follow-ups or things, but most of the other stuff Val's been going to, so there was consistency with the health care. So although she did keep a fairly detailed notebook of all the medical appointments, because over the last 4 years or 5 years, my mom's gone through breast cancer twice, and had a mastectomy, and other things going on. Sorry. A number of years ago, she'd had 2 surgeries on her ear canals to see if they could alleviate a problem with her hearing. Didn't work. Neither one of them worked. And her hearing has gotten worse, and she's, very hard of hearing, which doesn't make things easy to communicate with her. But now we're getting to, she's not communicating very much anyway, and I haven't been in to see her for 2 days because I got to the point where I was exhausted. The fatigue with my MS is bad enough, but then adding this on. Last Friday, I was there from 10 or 11 in the morning until about 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon with Mum. It was about 30 hours, something like that. And then Brenda came in, and Brenda had needed the night off, so I told her, not to come in, and I would take the night, and she spent a couple nights there. Key difference is they have a lounge chair, a recliner for us in Mum's room, but I'm getting distracted because the TV's on and I see movement. That's how bad I am right now. Ooh, look, a shiny object. But they're coming in and having to turn Mum every couple of hours. Plus checking things, and it's a little different for my sister to be in there than it is for me. It's my mom. So I'm just beat. Val and Heinz got back Monday night. This is now Thursday, sometime in March, the end of March. I don't know what day. Near the end of the 28th, 27th, somewhere in there. So I took a couple days off, and I've just been sleeping, and I get up and I can't concentrate on anything. I've tried to make several videos, and they're all sitting in the can, and I just didn't have the brain power to edit and put anything up. So I'm going to try and do this one in one shot and put it up, because there's just nothing in the tank. So Mum wasn't expected to be around when Val and Heinz got back from their vacation. But she's a strong woman, and she is. Although Val and Heinz did notice a big difference, and every day you go in, you notice a difference. Now she's maybe awake for a few hours, and then she might sleep for 2 days. And when she is awake, she was telling really good stories last week, and I had the camcorder on her. But that footage is for family only. So she was telling stories about when we were children. And I was able to get Val talking to Mum, Val and Heinz talking to Mum when they were getting ready to go on holidays, and that might have been the last time they'd seen her. But she's still with us. She's strong. She's a very strong woman, and don't know what else to say. I would think that she won't be here much longer. We had started making arrangements for funeral and everything, and all the preparations you do. So if she had gone while before Val and Heinz went, we could have squeezed the funeral in. But then we thought that's kind of rushing it. If we had put a deadline that, it sounds kind of cold. If Mum dies before Monday, we can squeeze it in before holidays. But we decided to wait till they got back. So that's this week, and now we're looking at Thursday. Sunday, Kyle is going to Mexico for a week with his girlfriend and her family for one of Brittany's Kyle's girlfriend. One of Brittany's cousins is getting married down there, so they're just having a small wedding down in Mexico. So my sisters had decided, I didn't even need to vote on it because my vote wouldn't have changed anything. There's 3 of us, and they had decided that they're not going to hold a service for Mum until Kyle's home too. So, and even if she went now, we couldn't have it before he left anyway. But I would think she'd maybe down to less than a week anyway. Can't believe just how long she has gone. without eating. And with that, I'm going to shut it down for a minute and go let the dogs in. Okay, dogs are back in. I'm trying not to rock because that shows up funny on the video. My sister Brenda and I both have MS, and it affects both of us differently. But even at that, you know, the fatigue levels are very different. I'm a lot more fatigued than she is. But we're both feeling the effects of this stuff with Mom. Last night, though, 2 o'clock in the morning, unable to sleep because that's the other problem I have going on, which, you know, stress makes it worse. I just flipped on the old iPhone and lying in bed, wide awake, checking Facebook, and Adam Niffen popped in and said hello, so we texted back and forth a little bit. Nothing, you know, nothing really, you know, he asked how things were going, and, you know, I was just kind of at the point someone asked, I had to say a couple things, so I mentioned how Mom was, and how tired I was, and then we got to talking about videos and stuff, and Adam, thank you. Didn't mean to throw personal stuff at you about my mom and that, but did help me to get it out. So I appreciate that, bud. Hope I didn't keep you up too late. What else is going on? Okay, bad news. Okay, the damage report on the van for the rear bumper and rear lift gate. It's about $1,800 or $1,600. Plus I had a claim from last year just before we went to Florida that I hadn't had fixed yet, so with the 2 claims everything will get done. And while I'm at it, since they're going to have likely take the lift gate off to work on it, and they're going to have to paint part of it, I'm going to get them to touch up all the rust on it, and redo the whole lift gate, and then the whole rear bumper will be done, and then I'll just do the rust spots. And I'm taking it to a body shop that the painter used to be my neighbor when I lived in Winnipeg. He was like a 7-year-old kid back then, and hardest working kid I've ever seen. You know, this kid, Portuguese descent, lived with his grandmother, who was next door, and cousins, because he was close to the school. Mind you, where his parents lived was close to the school, but for whatever reason, he was never at his parents' house very much, because his parents had, you know, some twins and some other boys, and I guess they just moved them around where they could afford to feed them. Plus, they were building cleaners. They would go out at night and clean offices and that. And Richie, as we called him, Richie Rich, he went out and cleaned buildings and that. And then, as his older cousin, Eddie, bought a 77 IROC Camaro, Richie always cleaned cars. he'd wash them, vacuum them out. Every day it seems he was doing one of the cars from the family. He just loved cleaning cars and doing, and that. And he helped Eddie take care of that Camaro. And that Camaro was put away every winter, and it looked really good. But in the early 90s, it was starting to look, faded paint and the clear coat and stuff like that, like the GM paints did. And Richie was in high school at the time, taking auto body, so he took the hood and repainted it, and then I guess it turned out pretty good, and then he eventually redid it and painted it a different blue. I think he used a Viper blue on this Camaro, and some people say, well, it's not a shit GM color, but I'll tell you, this IROC with that color on there, it just blows you away. And his paint work is like nothing else. And I pass the body shop he works at every day when I go into the city, and I also know the owner because he used to deal with MTS, the company I worked for, doing fleet repairs, and he would do a fair number of vehicles for us. And Richie's started doing body work and everything there, but now he's just painting, and he has several guys feeding him the cars, and he does the prep and paint, and he's got guys doing body work, and they do restorations, but mostly collision stuff. So I'm going to talk to him when I go take the van in to get the stuff done, and I'm going to see what he can do to get me mix up a little extra paint, and I don't mind paying for it. Get him to mix up the extra paint for me to shoot to repair the other stuff. Could be a problem because last time I talked to him in the fall, I should have looked closer. I'm not sure if they're using waterborne or not. They likely are. So I don't know if they can get base clear anymore. If he can, then maybe I'll get him to get some of that, because I understand waterborne is a completely different thing. And I've never shot base clear, but I used to shoot acrylic enamel all the time, and always had decent results with it. A lot of race cars and stuff, and little patches on the odd car here and there, and then the one street car we had when we first moved here, it was written off by the insurance company, and I fixed it up and painted it, and then we drove it for another 10 years or 8 years. Okay, so much for that.